Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam.
Hey everyone. So once again we are going to continue this Srimad Bhagavatam. So before going, we'll start with an invocation. Om Shuklam Vardharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Vashantaye. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaham. Guruve Sarva Lokanam, Vishaje Bhavaroginam, Nadiye Sarva Vidyanam, Dakshinamurtaye Namaham. Tennaaduடைய பெரியவா போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி சர்வஜ்ஞா சர்வவ்யாபி பெரியவா சரணம் மாய பிறப்பர்க்கும் மகா பெரியவா அடி போற்றி ஓம் ஜன்மாத்யஸ்ய யதோ அன்வயாதிதரதஸ்சாஹர்த்தேஷு அபிஜ்ஞः ஸ்வராட் தேனே பிரம்மஹ்ருதாய ஆதிகவயே முஹ்யந்தி யத் சூரயः तेजो वारिमृदां यदा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा दाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तगुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. So we'll start Bhagavatam. Last time we have seen how Chaturmukha Brahma has created this universe. Chaturmukha Brahma has created the universe. He created Sanagadigal, and slowly the creation is starting now. So he created a couple, Satarupai and Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. So those are the couples. See, hearing all these stories of Manu, Chatrenum Manu, Solirka Padatamnu Solirka, like, at least a small amount, of Manu has to be heard. Like their progenies, Manu's progenies, they all give us all sorts of punyam in our life, all sorts of blessings, because those Maharajas, those Maharajas, Manu and their dynasty, the whole dynasty, whatever punyam this Manu's family, have, that will add on to our family also. So that is why we have to hear the stories of all these kings. So here, Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa, they have 3 daughters and 2 sons. 3 daughters, their name is Ahuti. The first one is Ahuti, Devahuti and Prasuti. And they have got 2 sons, Uttanapada and Priyavrita and Uttanapada. So, Ahuti was married to a sage called Ruchi. The first daughter is married. The second daughter, Devahuti, Manu doesn't know where to give his second daughter, Devahuti, because, those period were the starting period. They were the starting period of creation. The world is, now only developing. It's in the developing stage. So that is why the grooms are very rare to find out in those days. So Jagat Srishti is, was taking place very, very slowly. At that time, Jagat Srishti was taking place very, very slowly. So Manu went to Brahma. So Brahma is the creator, no? So Brahma is the father of Manu now. So he went to Brahma and asked for a solution. Because, Brahma said, don't worry, my son, don't worry. I got another son, my son, Kardama Rishi, Kardama sage, Kardama is there. And he was born in my shadow. So Kardama Muni, he was practicing penance. He practiced penance on the banks of river Saraswati for the period of more than, 10,000 years or so. So he practiced yoga, meditation for, more than many years. And the Lord, he to please Lord Hari means Vishnu. To please Lord Vishnu, he was doing penance at the river, in the banks of river Saraswati. So he attained perfection. He has attained perfection and has got a lot of devotion to the Supreme Lord, like, Paramatma. So he said that you go to Kardama and ask for Devahuti as a groom. In those days, there is a verse in Bhagavatam, like Priyavrito Uttanapado Sutau Swayambhuvasya Vai Yatha Dharmam Jugupatuhu Saptadvipavati Mahim. Like, these verse, it says, the name Priyavrata and Uttanapada, sons of, Swayambhuva Manu, are mentioned here in this verse. You can see they, they ruled this earth. They ruled this earth, which is divided. The verse says like that. They ruled this earth, which is divided into 7 islands. These 7 islands, see, why I am saying this verse is, the Bhagavatam itself says the universe is like that. It was divided into 7 islands, and these 7 islands are still current. That's why I'm quoting this verse. Like, all these 7 islands like Asia, Europe, America, Africa, Australia, North and South poles are current now. Even now we can see all these 7 islands, like, so there is no chronological, history of all the Indian kings in Srimad Bhagavatam. But, even in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, it is told how the universe is created and how this, all things if you go deep into Bhagavatam and study all the verses, you will come to know how this universe is created, how these manvantarams, how all these mountains, rivers, how they are all, born. You can see all the, even though it is not, even though there is no chronological order of kings, it says the deeds of the important kings are such as, Priyavratan, Uttanapadan, are all mentioned here. And many other, even the king's name, like, Ramachandra Prabhu, Sakshat Ramar, Lord Ramachandran, Ramachandra Prabhu, and, Maharaja Yudhishthira, all are recorded because the activities of such, pious kings are worth hearing. It's not like any other, history, but, people may also benefit by studying these histories. You should know the history. That's very important. And those histories are recorded even in the Bhagavatam stage itself. So this is the true history. We have to know about the true history of our universe, of our Paramatma, of our lords, Devatas, Devas, then only we will get faith in all this God, and we will start praying, and we will get the fruits also. So now, now we'll come to this Gardama Maharishi. Okay. Now about Gardama Maharishi, or this Muni, Brahma said, okay, my son, Gardama Muni is staying, okay, on the banks of Bindu Sarovar, near the, Saraswati river. See, awaiting the time of which the Lord had spoken. So you go there. He is asking Manu to go there and compel him to marry your daughter Devahuti. So the emperor, this emperor Swayambhuva Manu, with his wife, he mounted his chariot, which was decorated with a lot of jewels and golden ornaments and all, placing his daughter Devahuti, on it with him, and he began traveling all over the earth in search of this Gardama Muni. See, that is how they searched a groom on those days, because the grooms are very rare to find out. And a good person has to be found out, isn't it? So, at last he found this Gardama sage, Gardama Munivar sage Gardama near this Bindu Sarovar near that river Saraswati. See, this Bindu Sarovar, this Bindu Sarovar, the lake Bindu Sarovar, there is a story behind it, because this Gardama, sage Gardama, he underwent austerities to gain the mercy of the Lord, costless mercy of the Lord. And when the Lord arrived, he was so compassionate that in that in pleasure, he was doing so much of tapas, so much of penance, so much of thinking over the Lord again and again, isn't it? So that in pleasure, he shed tears. So that tears became that Bindu Sarovar, near that Saraswati river. So this king, he approached this sage Kardama. He saw that this Kardama Muni is like a gem. He was looking like a gem because so much of tapas and tejas, If you see this Periva, you can see that tejas, you can see that tapas in his face, that's radiating, like he is like a gem. So the sage Kardama is like a gem, though he was not properly dressed, and though he was not, his body was not properly cleansed, he looked like a, jewel, like a gem. So the king, if you go and the king bowed, before the sage Gardamar, and the sage Gardamar also greeted him because he is a king, isn't it? So greeted him and asked for the reason for visiting him. So the king first praised the sage, praised the sage, and then he said, this is my daughter Devahuti, and he is the sister of Ahuti and Prasuti. I love my daughter very much. And he also said, he also asked Gardamar to marry his daughter Devahuti. At first he refused. He refused in the sense that he is going to do tapas and everything. But this Manu, he said the momentum, he said about Devahuti. He is telling about Devahuti. Manu said, the moment she heard from sage Narada of your noble character, of your learning, of your beautiful appearance, of your youth and other virtues, she fixed her mind upon you. So please accept her. I offer her with faith that she is in every, respect fit to be your wife and take charge of your household duties. So now sage, the great sage, Kardamar replied, okay, certainly I have a desire to marry your daughter, and your daughter has not yet married or given her word to anyone. So I will marry. So therefore our marriage, will take place according to this Vedic rituals. But Gardama Muni also, here the sage Gardama also praised Devahuti. He praised Devahuti's beauty and said, she could have married any person because she's a princess. She's so adorable. She's so pretty. She's so beautiful. She looks like an ornament of ornaments. And she could have married any Gandharvas or Devas or anybody. So she's a princess also, isn't it? So, but she has come of her own accord to seek his hand, the sage's hand. So he accepted to, sage Gardama, he accepted to marry his daughter, marry the daughter of Manu. But on one condition. He said, there is one condition. He said, I am maintaining my celibacy, like, I am maintaining the brahmacharya. And whenever I wish, then only I will have the child. Whenever I wish, I will have the child. And when the children are born, I will take sannyasa. I will get rid of this family. I will go out. I will leave the family and I will get sannyasa. Immediately Devahuti replied, accepted. He replied and accepted. And this sage, he captured. He has got a lot of mystic powers. It's a very great glowing sage. So he began to capture the mind of Devahuti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. So the wedding took place in a very grand manner. The wedding took place between this Kardama, sage Kardama and Devahuti. So the emperor and wife, was unable to bear the separation of their daughter. Then they have to go. So therefore, tears poured from their eyes. And sage Gardamar asked them, asked Devahuti whether, she liked to stay with their parents for some more time or some more days. But this Devahuti, she is very intelligent. She is a princess. She is the daughter of Manu, but she is very, very, very intelligent. As soon as she is married, she told, like she said, from now on, you are my father, you are my mother, and you are my lord. So the emperor and his wife left the place, and now Devahuti started living with this Gardama Muni in that hermitage, in that forest. He was doing penance. See, it was written in the Bhagavatam, the verse. It's told, like, after the parents left him, this Devahuti, she understands the desire of her husband, served him constantly with great love as Bhavani. Bhavani means the wife of Lord Shiva, serves as her husband. Here, this verse, the meaning of this verse is like that, is like this. Sorry. See, it's told that it is said, like, this Devahuti served her husband not as a duty. It's not like a duty, I'm doing all these things. She served with all love and affection. She was constantly serving, like a great Bhavani, like, goddess Bhavani to Lord Shiva. They could have easily told like Mahalakshmi to Mahavishnu. Why the specific example of Bhavani is very significant here, because Bhavani is Parvati Devi, who is the princess and daughter of King of Himalayas. She is the daughter of King of Himalayas. But what happened is she only selected Lord Shiva, Parameshwara, as her husband, who appears a lot like who appears like a beggar, wearing a skull, and spending time, mostly the time on the cremation ground. So she took all kinds of tribulations, to associate with Lord Shiva, who did not even have a house, who did not even have a shelter, but was sitting underneath the tree, and passing his time in meditation. Parvati has selected such a groom. That is why here the significance is given to Bhavani, Parvati here. See, Mahalakshmi is married to Mahavishnu. That is a different story, because Mahavishnu looks handsome, beautiful, is all fully decorated with all jewels and living in a very good place with all the, fashionable things. So Mahalakshmi selecting Mahavishnu is nothing. Here, Parvati selecting Shiva has some significance. Like, Shiva is like this. The same way here, Devahuti, she is also the princess. She is also the princess. She is the daughter of the emperor, Manu. But she has selected such a husband like Lord Shiva, who is a sage. He was always meditating, sitting, continuously closing his eyes and sitting. But Devahuti, she never bothered. She served her husband with, with intimacy and with great respect and, control of senses, with love and sweet words. She is serving like that, So, sage Gardamar, sage Gardamar was in tapas for so many years. And she was having, served him for a long time. She grew weak. And, emaciated, due to the religious observances and all. So, following the strict vows of a chaste woman, Princess Devahuti became, very much, pale. She became very, very pale and thin, and she became very weak. And on one particular day, she was serving. She will be sitting on a tapas always, and she will go find out some fruits and give her. Whenever he opens his eyes, she used to serve him. On one particular day, what happened? She was carrying all fruits for him, but did not give him. See, she was shedding tears. The tears, fell on sage Gardama's hand, and he opened his eyes to see that, and saw that, she was pale, she was thin, and she was standing, and she was all shedding, tears. So he saw her, he know that, and she was the daughter of he understood, Gardamar understood. She was a daughter of a great king, and yet serving him just like an ordinary woman. See, she was reduced, in health by such activities. So much of activities she was doing. She never took her food, and so she was, she was reduced in health. And he became very compassionate. Sage, Kardama became so compassionate and said, "Oh dear, see, I'm very much pleased. I'm very much pleased with you for your great devotion and most excellent loving service. Since the body, the body is so dear. We can't be, the body, our body is so dear to us always. Since the body is so dear to this embodied being, I am astonished. I am astonished that you have neglected your own body to use it, on my behalf. You are serving me. You are doing so much of activities for me, neglecting your own body." So he said, sorry, you can ask me anything. You can ask me anything you want. And he also gave a divine darshan for a moment. He gave a divine vision to see the God's glories. But Devahuti is like an ordinary woman. She is a very innocent woman. At that time, she is very innocent. So, but in that innocent Devahuti said, "I know that you have achieved perfection and or the master of all the, what should I say, all the infallible, mystic powers. But you once made a promise." She is remembering that. But you once made a promise that our, bodily union should now fulfill, because children are a great quality for a chaste woman, and who has a glorious husband like you. So she also said she needs a good house to live in, because all the women, generally they will have attraction towards her beauty and having house, ornaments, jewels, and clothings and everything. That's a feminine nature. So she is also like that, and she asked for it. And Gardama, sage Gardama, she smiled and she said, and he said, he said, "Oh dear, don't worry. See, I'm not going to, don't worry, I'm not going to build you a house, made up of cement or brick or like this wood. And I'm going to give you a house, I'm going to build a house that's an aerial mansion with his yogic power, with his mystic power. He built an aerial mansion. That is, a house in a flight. Imagine a house in a flight. That's an aerial mansion. And instantly produced an aerial mansion also, that could travel at his will. At his will, it can travel. There is no driver. There is no pilot for that. It can travel to any place without a pilot. And the mansion has, was a wonderful structure. The mansion, the Bhagavatam has described that mansion in a very beautiful way. Like, that mansion has got all the things, whatever is required for a family, whatever is required. Whatever is there in the whole world, whatever pleasure is there in the whole world, the whole pleasure, all the pleasures are there in the building. That is in this the aerial mansion. It was all, with all sorts of jewels, pillars of precious stone, gems, and furnitures, so much of furnitures, lot of wealth, with all necessary paraphernalia, and all, it was all, it was pleasing, in all seasons. In all seasons, it will be like that. It will be very good. You can't feel the heat, you can feel the cold. and it will be very, very good there. So the castle was fully decorated with all types of flowers, with the humming bees. You can just imagine, like, with humming bees, with it's all written. The Bhagavata slogan has given all the descriptions like that, with humming bees, with tapestries of all the linen and silk, with charming beds, couch, and fans and seats and all. It and all separately arranged in 7 stories. It's a 7-story building. The floor was all decorated with emerald and rubies and coral dices, with all the diamond walls and golden gates. So the place vibrated like anything. The castle, the whole aerial mansion was vibrating like anything, with all the divine things and with all the birds and beautiful ponds and pools and everything. So seeing this castle, this beautiful castle, Devahuti was stunned. See, this shows that our work, hard work, or if you pray to us, if you pray to God, or if you have devotion in such a sage, her husband itself is a great sage, isn't it? So she never bothered to, serve her husband for lots and many years. But the result is she got everything. Whatever she wants, she got it. See, here the castle, beautiful castle, Devahuti was stunned to see that. And sage Gardamar asked her to take bath in the lake Bindu Sarovar. And then mount the aeroplane, that aerial mansion. Devahuti, she did not look like, Devahuti did not look attractive, because of her dirty dress and looks, and then locks. There were locks of matted hair, matted hair on her head. So after taking bath in the Bindu Sarovar, she was all looking old, pale and thin and all. So after taking bath, she looked herself in the water, and she was surprised to see herself like a 16-year-old beautiful girl. She's like an angel. Now, so she saw 1,000, girls in the prime of youth inside this house, inside this castle, fragrant like lotus. They said that, we are all your maid servant. We are all your maid servant, and your husband is a great yogi. Because of his tapas, we came here. We are all, Devatas, and we have come here to serve you. So tell us, what can we do for you? So they dressed her with all the jewels and all the pretty ornaments, and she looked more and more prettier. Now she was thinking about Gardamar Maharishi. Devahuti was thinking about Gardamar Maharishi. Oh, he was a sage. He has got a lot of long beard, and he was, old, and he looks old and all. So she cried, and I'm looking beautiful. I'm looking prettier now. But you are old man now. You are an old man. Now Gardama smiled and said, then I can make you prettier. Can't I make me prettier or handsome? So Gardama Maharishi, he turned into a very young lad, very handsome young lad. And they went inside this aerial mansion, and they were, traveling to many places there, from Mount Meru, Manasarovar Lake, and they traveled all over the earth, and up to many places, and then returned to this hermitage, the same hermitage. That this Gardama Munivar, he divided himself into 9 personalities, just to give, pleasure to Devahuti. He enjoyed her. He enjoyed with her for many years, which passed just like a moment. They even forgot how time was passing by. So immediately afterwards, Devahuti, she gave birth to 9 girls, 9 female children, all very charming, beautiful, 9 girls. So, but after these children are born, when she saw her husband about to leave, see, Sage Gardamar has already told that after getting children, I'll leave this place. I'm going to get sannyasam and I'm going to leave this home and I'm going. So after these children are born, and when she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but she got agitated and depressed internally. So she said, you have fulfilled your promise, but these girls, but these 9 girls, they will go away after getting married. What about me? What about me without you? She also said, now she is realizing. See, when something is there precious with us, we won't realize when it is with us. When we get separated from that, then only we will know the importance, the significance of that, and then only we will grieve for that. Similarly, she also said, all now, or till now, I have not understood you. You're a great sage. I could have asked so many things, but I have not understood you, and wasted time indulging in these activities, like rather than knowing about Paramatma. She wanted to utilize the advantage of the association of her great husband. So, in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation, from the material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. So the sage said, the sage Gardamar, he said, see, don't be disappointed, okay? Do not be disappointed with yourself. Oh, princess, you are actually, praiseworthy. You are a praiseworthy lady, the infallible supreme personality of the Lord will shortly, enter into your womb as your son. He is going to take birth. He is going to come to your birth. So you will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. Brahman means Brahma, para knowledge. Thus said, this Kardama Maharishi, sage Kardama, he handed over all the daughters, he handed over his daughter, then all the 9 daughters, he got married, all the 9 daughters to the sages, like, he handed over his daughter Kala to Marichi, another daughter Anusya to Atri, 9 daughters, they got 9 daughters, so, and Shraddha to Angira Maharishi, Angira, and Havirbhu to Pulastya, and Gati to Pulaha, and Kriya to Kratu, and Kyati to Bhrigu, and Arundhati to Vasishtar, and Shanti to Atharva Maharishi. So, the wedding was celebrated in a very grand manner, and all the 9 girls got married, and many sacrificial ceremonies are all performed, and everyone, all the 9 girls, they got married. When Gardamar understood that now the Lord is going to take birth, now the Supreme Personality, like, the Mahavishnu, the Paramatma is going to enter her womb, and she is going to deliver the Lord now. So when Gardama understood that Lord has come, see, Kapila Vasudeva, his name is Kapila Vasudeva, Paramatma, incarnated as Kapila. He was born as a baby and grew as a 5-year-old boy. Immediately, when Gardama understood that the Lord has come, he approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances and said, you have taken birth, you have taken birth at my place. You have shown so much of mercy towards me. Lot of people, you have shown lot of mercy to lot of people. Due to their ignorance, people are suffering. And you have come to give us peace and also knowledge. See, and he also said that if you are present near me, if I am looking at you, you look like my own child, because it is his own child, and you looks like my own child, and I don't want to look you like that. Now see you like that. I want to see you inside. Only when we see inside the Lord, like, we realize the Lord inside ourselves, that only removes our, soham and moham. Shoham and, that will remove the soham and moham. See, when you have to see the Lord, Paramatma, in our heart. So, it's for example, if you see, if a doctor gives you a tablet and says, you'll have a diarrhea at least for 3 times you'll go for a diarrhea. And if the patient, he took the tablet and he comes the other day and says that I'm not, I didn't go. And if the doctor asks, what do you do with this tablet? He said that I put the tablet, put some water, pasted, I made it a paste and did vibhuti on my forehead. Then it will not do its work. You have to take it. So similarly, the God, you have to, even though if you see a lot of, photos, and you have to realize, you have to get into this heart, you have to realize the God inside you. That is most important. So then only the shokam and moham will go. So if you see the God inside, that will remove all our struggles. So I'm going to do penance. For that, says, Gardama is saying, Sage Gardama is saying all these things. So I wish to wander about free from all these lamentations, thinking about you always in my heart. And Gardama was, Gardama was also anxious about his wife, anxious about his, he has got a very good wife, isn't it, Devahuti. While leaving him, and so this Kapila Vasudeva, who was born, as a son of this Gardama Devahuti, is a very worthy son. He promised that not only would Gardama sage be free from all the material entanglement, but Devahuti would also be freed by, receiving the instructions from her son. Thus Kapila Vasudeva, he promised. So sage Gardamar, then he circumambulated his 5-year-old son. He knows that his son is a Paramatma, isn't it? So he circumambulated his 5-year-old son Kapila Vasudeva and Kapila and left for the forest. So the Lord, took birth as a Kapila Vasudeva to disseminate the knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. So when Gardama left for the forest, Lord Kapila stayed on the, on the strand of Bindu Sarovar in order to please his mother Devahuti. Now Devahuti is coming to his son, asking for all the instructions about the Paramatma. She wanted to learn about Paramatma. She wanted to know about Paramatma. She wanted to have a divine knowledge. See, even though it is her own son, the son is giving instructions. The son is giving Brahmanyanam to his own, mother. This is going to happen. So in the next session, we will see that Kapila Vasudeva's Upadesams. That's a very beautiful Upadesam. Kapila gives to his own mother. Here, the mother is a student and the son is the teacher or the Acharya. So Kapilopadesam, we will see in the next session. So we'll close today's session with Purnamadam. So Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So we will meet in the next session with Kapilobadesam. Okay, we will see Kapilobadesam in the next session. Thank you.